1 and 2. Okay, number 3. Which hypothesis involves equality? That would be the null.
Null, yeah. The first one. Alrighty. So the p-value is the probability of obtaining a sample statistic at least as extreme as the one that was actually observed. Remember that the p-value is the probability of obtaining a sample statistic at least as extreme. Oh, it's the same thing I just said. When using the p-value, which hypothesis do you assume to be true?
Same thing, the null.
No.
Suppose the null hypothesis is equal to 10. Which of the following represents the alternative hypothesis for a two-tailed test?
Two-tailed.
That is
I want to say it's with the equal sign with a line through it, but I'm not
not equal
positive.
to. Yeah.
I would assume so, because it would have to be two different.
That is what it is, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. A left-tailed test.
That one I remember, so like the greater than sign would point to the side. So it'd be that the mean is less than 10, is how I remember those, the left and right tailed.
Gotcha. So if it's left, it would be that the mean is less than 10 or greater than?
Less than 10. So the arrow would point to the left side.
Okay. So how did you, I guess, remember it that way?
It said that in the reading that like
Oh,
the mean is less than the number, and so I just remember it by saying that it points to the left side or like the tail for the test, the left tail test.
yeah. Gotcha. So left is left side, then right tail would be pointing to the right side.
Hmm.
Okay. Cool.
You can, yeah.
Alrighty. Then. Oh, so 7 would just be the same thing, but the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, 8. Remember that we determine the outcome of a hypothesis test by comparing the p-value to the level of significance. Which relationship would result in failing to reject the null hypothesis?
So I don't get the level of significance. Like I know the answer to this question.
I don't know. I don't really understand it either. I just know the p-value would be less than.
Well, I know in the reading it said the p-value is greater than, should like to reject the null hypothesis, the p-value would be greater than the level of significance. That's what it said in the reading.
To reject it, correct?
Yeah, to reject it.
Yeah.
I
And
just
then to
don't know
fail.
what the level of significance is.
Yeah, I couldn't really grasp that either because I kept like trying to. I was like, it just gives you one, and then it's like it's either greater or less than, and that determines it. But I was like, yeah, I was in the same boat. I was like, well, what is level of significance even?
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay, so
for this,
the level of significance is the number that can be used to determine if the p-value is small enough to reject the null hypothesis.
yeah, but like, where do you get the level of
I still don't really get that.
significance? Oh, maybe it'll explain it later. But so question 8 is p-value is less than level of significance.
Number 8, no, p-value is greater than the level of significance.
Well, so, but if it's failing to reject, that means it's not rejecting,
No,
right?
yeah, and in the reading it says specifically that if the p-value is greater than the level of significance, we fail to reject. So that if we fail to reject it, that means we don't accept the null
Oh, you
hypothesis,
don't.
but we don't reject it.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good.
So then to reject the null hypothesis on number 9, the p-value would have to be less than the level of significance.
Gotcha. I was just getting them flip-flopped.
What?
I was just getting them flip-flopped in my mind. Dude, it's all good.
Okay.
All right.
Number 10.
All right. An insurance company is reviewing its current policy rates. When originally setting the rates, they believe that the average claim amount was $1,500. They are concerned that the true mean is actually higher than this. Which of the following would be an appropriate alternate hypothesis? Yeah. The average claim amount is greater than 1,500.
Yeah. 11. Which of the following would be the appropriate null hypothesis? That
The
first.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. The insurance company randomly selects 40 claims and calculates a sample mean of 1650. The insurance company assumes the distribution of the sample mean is normal. Is this a good assumption?
I would say yes, because the sample size is large.
Yeah, large is what, 30 plus?
Yeah. And then that corresponds to the central limit theorem, which is the next question.
Yep. And then the test statistic is defined as the z-score, right?
Yes.
Or ISZ.
Yeah. Okay. The historical average, of sales receipts.
Yeah.
Grocery store is $150 with a standard deviation of $40. The store manager suspects that the average has decreased. She sets up a hypothesis test with the hypotheses that it's less than 150. She'll use a level of significance of 0.05. She then takes a simple random sample of 36 sales receipts from a store and computes to get that the average is 144. So we have to get the z-score, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think I got it right.
I got negative 0.9.
Yeah, I got -6. I don't think either of us got right, though, because it says round to 3 decimal places.
Oh, I got negative 0.900 is what. Because so what I did was 144 minus 150,
150
and then I did that over, well, yeah, I did that divided by, and I did 40 divided by the square root of 36, which was just 6. So 40 divided by 6 was so -6 divided by whatever the answer to 40 divided by 6 was.
I got 20.25. Okay, hold on. Let me do this again. Yeah, I got 0.9, -0.9.
All right, sweet.
Okay, what's the p-value associated with the z-score from the previous question?
I got 0.184.
Is it p-value is just above, like it's only on the right side? Is that correct?
Well, so with this one where it's asking, because it says where she says she thinks the mean is less than 150.
Okay, so
it would be
okay, that one would be just the left side. I guess
the left side.
I really was asking, it's just one side, right? It's not both sides. That would be a two-tailed test if it was both sides, right?
Yeah, if it was both sides, it would be two-tailed.
Okay, so I also got 0.1841.
Okay, sweet.
0.184.
All right. So what would you make about the null hypothesis for this problem? So it's greater than 0.05. So we would read.
The p-value is greater than the level of significance. That means we would fail to reject.
Fail to reject.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's either small enough to reject or not, I guess, is the way they put it.
Yeah. Think of null hypothesis kind of as like innocent until proven guilty. Like you can try to reject it, and it's not that you necessarily still accept it, but it's just that you couldn't really actually reject it because you didn't have enough proof to reject it, but you're going to keep
trying. All right. Good point.
What's your conclusion for this problem? We have, wait a second.
We have insufficient evidence.
We have insufficient evidence that the population.
That the true population mean is less than 150? Or
yeah, that's what I think so.
Yeah, we don't have enough evidence to prove that it's less than. Yeah, because it wasn't small enough to reject. I think that'd be it.
I think that's right.
So if that's not right, the answer would be we have sufficient evidence that the mean is 150 the next time we take it.
Yeah. Okay. 19, there are two types of errors that can be made when performing a hypothesis test. Which one involves rejecting the null when the null is true? So if you reject when it's true, that's type 1, right?
Yeah, so if it's true and you reject, yeah, type 1.
A researcher decided that instead of using a level of significance of 0.05, he will use a level of significance of 0.01. Which of the following is true? I have no idea on this one. I think this is because I don't really understand level of, like I understand it a little bit to answer the other questions with probability, but.
Well, I guess just the thing for this one is 0.05, so basically, so if it's decreasing the level of significance, there's a better chance that you're going to fail to reject.
That's true. Okay. So if you. Okay, so that could be, so that would be the probability of type 1 will increase, correct? Because type 1 is failing to reject. No. No, that means it's type 2. Because type 2 is failing to reject when it is false. Is that right?
Let's see. Well, if the null hypothesis is true and you rejected it, then it would, I think that would be type 1, wouldn't it? So, because like the last question.
Hold on. Okay.
If you would.
So if the level of significance decreases, that means that you're more likely to reject. No, you're more likely to.
You're more likely to.
Is it the probability that the null hypothesis? Never mind. Yeah, it could be the probability that the null is true will decrease. No, because your chances of failing to reject. Yeah.
Yeah, because failing to reject, if that increases, that means that the null hypothesis is true will increase as well.
Okay, so it's not that one. So it's one of the.
No, so. Yeah. And I think if it's. Because on that little box that it says, like, if the null is false, then that means that you thought you would fail, but you did reject. But if the null is true, and that's type 2, but if it's true and you thought you were going to reject it, but you failed to, that's type 1. I want to say it's the first one, but yes, if it's not, we can always put the second one after, or you can do vice versa, either one.
Okay, one.
My phone is about to die. I'm going to go grab a charger real quick.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So we know that if the level of significance is decreased, that means it's more likely to be wrong. And so our error may be not calling it out that it is wrong, which would be a type 2 error if we don't call it out and it is wrong.
Let's see. Hey, it's gonna be right, but it's wrong. Is that?
Well, okay, if he's decreasing the level of significance, then that means that we're more likely to fail to reject. Hold on, I think I was saying that wrong before. And if we fail to reject, that means, okay, never mind. I think you're right. I think it is type 1.
All right. Yeah, it's hard to explain because like it's just so weird to try and like discuss it. Oh well. All right. So that's 21. If the level of significance is 0.05, compute the probability of committing a type 1 error. Round to 2 decimal places.
how do we do that?
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, have we? That's an excellent question. Would it just be? It wouldn't be
You had
5%.
0.95. What?
Oh, that. Yeah, that may be right. 0.95. That makes, because I was like, it wouldn't be 5% of committing it wrong. Which means, because if it was 0.05, that means you have 5% chance of getting it right. 0.95 would be right. I guess we hit submit and check. No, it is not. Oh. So we missed the last two. Those are the only ones we missed.
Okay, let me think about 20 again for a sec. Okay. So, hold on. Okay. The last or the second to last one is type 2.
Okay.
I don't really understand why. But it's the smaller, because the level of significance is the probability of committing a type 1 error, basically.
Okay.
And so if that decreases, then your probability of type 2 error increases, because they're like opposite. They're kind of like opposites.
Yeah.
I guess I think of them as opposites. So I think that 20 is type 2 error, but I have no idea about 21.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it in the reading, because I don't remember going over anything like that.
No, I don't remember either. I wonder. Wait a second. Wait. Wouldn't it be 5? I think because if that is it, significance is the probability of committing a type 1 error. Would it not be either 5 or 0.05, whichever way it would be 0.05, right? Like the answer's in the question.
Yeah, I guess it.
Would you write it as 5 or 0.05 if it's 5%? I guess a percent's a
0.05, because it says to 2 decimal places, so you do 0.05.
okay. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I thought that would be it, but I was like, I feel like that was like one of those things. It's like it's too obvious to be it. But I guess if it's it, it's it.
We'll find out. Wait, I have one wrong.
That's right.
Oh, because wait, on 15, what the z-score associated with this test, and it says round to 3 decimal places. Are we supposed to put 0.900?
Yeah, negative 0.900.
Negative 0.900. Okay, that's why. Okay. Did you get them all right that time?
I have a
Are
couple
you
more that
still-
I have to fill back in. Yeah.
No.
Oh, they're putting a lock on it. So someone took my broom out of there. And I'm like, excuse you, there's a camera right above it. And I know the department did it, but it's a really, really piece of crap broom that should have been thrown away already. Like, it doesn't even work, really. So I'm like, whatever, you can keep it. You're going to steal a crappy broom. You must really, really need it. So I was going to send out an email being like, if you get in my closet, I'm going to, like, fine you money or something like that, you know? And then I was like, why don't we just put a lock on it? And then it'll really be like try to break in there now kind of thing. So I bet that's what they're doing. If you see someone getting in there, be like,
I'll tell them.
hey, get out of there.
Watch
Should be
out.
right back, yeah. Have a good one.
You too, see ya.
Alrighty. I got 100 on that one.
Okay.
Sweet.
Just a sec.
How'd you do on the test?
Not very good. I got 79. I
Gotcha.
like-
I got an 84.
Going through it beforehand, I like felt really good. And like studying beforehand and I did the quiz again and I was like, okay, like I get it. And then my brain, I think I just had fried my brain. Because I took it, I think, right after our meeting on Thursday. And I think I just fried my brain out. So I didn't do it as good as I'd hoped. But that's okay.
Gotcha.
I'll do better next time.
Indeed. All right. Well, I will see you Tuesday.
Do you know if she's curving it?
I have no idea. So I guess we'll find out.
Sorry, this week has been kind of crazy with with my fiance's bishop and then some falls for class. But next week should be more normal. So if you want to, we can just plan on meeting Tuesday evening. Both lessons for the week, both quizzes for the week.
All right. Yeah, it should be good Tuesday to do both. So let's plan on. If anything changes, I'll just message or
Okay.
put a message in the thing. And same for you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Have a good week.
You
See ya.
too. Bye.